So normally my videos, I tend to talk a lot, I tend to ramble, and they tend to be long. That is not going to be the case today, quite frankly. I am going to make this concise, I'm going to make this quick, I'm going to make this possibly my fastest wrap up ever. For one, this video is already going to be going up a little late. For two, not in the mood today. And number three, I only read 6 books, but I only liked 5 of them. Oh my god, if I can't get this earring in, that is actually going to possibly make me scream and or lose my mind today. Okay, anyways, there we go. Yeah, I only read 6 books, but I only liked 5 of them. So I'm only going to talk about the 5 of them that I liked and would recommend, because as you guys know here, I don't talk about books that I don't like and wouldn't recommend to you guys, even though I would honestly really love to just kind of like, I think just with my mood today, I'd honestly really love to talk about the book that I didn't like because I really didn't like it. But obviously we're not going to do that. So the 5 books that I read and loved this month. Wild Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the 8th book, right, in the Like Us series, which is a spin-off of the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series. It is the 2nd generation. This one specifically follows Sully, who is Reich and Daisy's oldest daughter, and her 2 bodyguards, Akara and Banks. So in this world, it's all of the kids of these famous families. So they've kind of grown up in the spotlight. Sully is no different than that, and they all have these bodyguards. And Akara and Banks are the 2 that are assigned to Sully. And Akara has been her bodyguard for years. She has like a very close kind of like buddy kind of relationship with her. She also has a crush on him, and Banks is now also on her detail as well, as Akara is now kind of being pulled in some different directions, and she also has a crush on Banks, and it is an MFM romance between the 3 of them. I really love this one. I can't really say too much plot wise because obviously it's the 8th book. It's also the 2nd generation series. I would not suggest just jumping straight into this one, even though it is their first book in the entire series, but I really enjoyed it. Still not my favorite. Mafia and Pharaoh's 3rd book and Tangled Like Us, so Alphas Like Us, Tangled Like Us are still my 2 favorites, but I really loved this one. And I remember when I went to go on Market on Goodreads as read, it has so much hate, and I'm not really sure why. I really enjoyed this one a lot, and I can't wait to keep going with their story. And the cliffhanger that this one ended on, I'm really excited for, specifically because I also love seeing like the parent cameos, because obviously I love the parents' books so much. Next up, okay, also another reason why I only read 6 books, but I am finally out of my slump. I just am like still kind of like slower going with reading right now than like I used to be. Like I remember I used to read like 18 or 20 books a month. Yeah, now I average anywhere from like 6 to 10 books a month, but I am out of my slump though, and this was one of the books that helped me get out of that, and that is Breath Mints and Battle Scars by Onyx and Elm. This is a Dramione fan fiction. It is like an 8th year, so like it's post-war, but they are all back at Hogwarts, and basically everyone's trying to move on, but Draco and Hermione like are struggling to move on, and this is one of the most toxic Dracos, and like they are not friends at the beginning of this. They really want nothing to do with each other. However, they start to like see that maybe out of everyone they are kind of the 2 that are still really struggling, and maybe like they understand the struggle that the other one is going through, and they kind of get connected in on that. I loved this one, okay, mostly because like this is like a really mean Draco, and I really like mean Draco. I don't really want like sweet guy Draco, but truly this burn of their relationship and just how they understand the other one's pain, how they're willing to be there for the other one's pain, how they're willing to see the other through it, and just not be casting the old judgments that they used to have. I mean, they still do that in the beginning, like it's very back and forth, but seeing them work past those old biases, whatever, that they had for each other, and that they really are like similar at their core. Oh, it was great. I loved it. Up there with my favorite Dramione fan fictions. And because I was like, let's keep these good vibes going, then I also read All You Want by Sen Lin Yu, which is another Dramione fanfiction, but this one is like completely different. And granted, I really enjoyed this one. It is not by far my favorite, but it was just truly, again, what I kind of needed to keep getting out of my slump. And it's an Omegaverse one. And again, it's like back at Hogwarts. Yeah, there was the war, obviously, back at Hogwarts now, and when Hermione shows up, she realizes that she is in Omega. And I'm not gonna like explain Omegaverse here because I have read maybe a handful of them. Like I am not super well versed in Omegaverse, but if you know, like it's like Omegas, Alphas, and Betas, and she shows up and she realizes that she is an Omega there, and Draco is an Alpha, and then, you know, if you know what happens in like Omegaverse, Omegas need their Alphas, and even though they don't like each other, they end up like kind of being together. It truly is just like a lot of smut, quite frankly. Like that just, even Senlin Yu herself says that. So, you know, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of miscommunication, which normally I don't like, but in this it just kind of worked because it was just like this fun kind of setting. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I don't really have much else to say. But still, I mean, Manacled and Secrets and Masks are my two Dramionies that like still remain on top untouched. Next then, I read a thriller, One by One by Frida McFadden, because again, still trying to get out of this slump. And again, this one and then the last romance that I'm going to talk about are the ones that truly pulled me out, along with Breath Mints and Battle Scars. So One by One, this one is a thriller. So it is these 6 people, 3 couples, and they all go away for a vacation. And when they're on their way to this cabin, when they're in the woods, they end up getting lost and their car breaks down. And then it's basically them like trying to survive, trying to get to their destination out in the woods. And then that is when one by one they start going missing. And the one whose POV you're in most of the time, Claire. So right off the bat, like, you know that her and her husband are having these marital issues, and they're kind of going away on this vacation to maybe see what could happen. But then once you start seeing all these other like people come into the mix, the other couples, the other like connections and things, just you realize that maybe not everything is all as it totally seems. And then especially once they start disappearing, I will say this was really good. It's under 300 pages. It went into it quickly. It kept my attention the whole time. It was fast paced. I like these kind of like whodunit type thrillers more so than other ones. Like, I think this is really like where I found that I like my thrillers to be, in this kind of like wondering who's doing it, what's going on kind of thing. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fast paced. The ending I thought was good. Like, it kind of like satisfied me, which again is always my problem with thrillers, is if the ending I don't like it and I don't buy it, then it kind of ruins the whole book for me, even if I've had a good reading experience. But this one, like, I liked the end. I enjoyed my time with it. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, if you're looking for a thriller, and also on Kindle Unlimited, I'd give it a shot. And last but not least, like I said, guys, I'm gonna be quick today, and look at me. I'm proud of myself, and also because I don't really feel like filming today, so I'm glad that this was a quick video to actually do. But I have Secret Lucidity by E.K. Blair. This was my favorite book that I read this month. I loved this book so much. So our heroine in this one, I think Cam, right? Is that right? I'm not gonna look it up because I don't want to pause this. Because also, if I can do this in one just take and I don't even have to pause my phone, that would be awesome. But I'm pretty sure her name is Cam. And she is a swimmer, and the book starts when it is at the end of her junior year. She has a lot of prospects. Like, she's really, really good at swimming. So she's like in talks of getting a scholarship, whatever, and her dad is her swim coach. And at the end of her junior year, she ends up meeting the new assistant swim coach, who is Coach Andrews. I think his name was David, and he ends up being the new assistant coach. And at the end of her junior year, tragedy strikes, and her entire world is pretty much flipped upside down. And then a lot of the book takes place then like the fall, like in her senior year and stuff, and how she's kind of reacting to basically her entire life imploding, and you know, it affecting swimming, school, her home life, everything. Like, everything in her life is kind of in a whirlwind, and she kind of only has one person who's there for her and kind of keeping her afloat, and that is her swim coach and now her English teacher as well. So it is coach, athlete, student, teacher, taboo, forbidden, romance. Obviously there's an age gap in there. I will just say, and I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to accidentally give anything away, but I will just say, truly, like, I was not expecting the emotional depth that I felt from this book, and E.K. Blair's writing was beautiful. I loved her writing so much. It makes me want to read more books from her. I'm definitely going to check out more from her. But obviously, because like it is a taboo and forbidden relationship, but truly I rooted for Cam so hard. Like, I just wanted to see her be happy, do good things, come out of this on the other side in a good place. And definitely check your triggers with it. It does get dark, but truly, like, I was just rooting for her. And obviously, yeah, I loved the forbidden aspect of David being her coach and her teacher, but truly, like, their relationship was just rooted in such like emotional depth that I loved it. My one and only thing about this book that I wish is that it is only in single POV. You only get Cam's POV, and I really, really wish that it was dual, because I would have loved to have known more about David and like seen Cam through his eyes. But otherwise, I loved it. The writing was incredible, and like I said, this and Breath Mints and Battle Scars were my 2 favorite reads of the month. So yeah, that is the 5 books that I read this month that I can talk to you guys about. So anyways, That is it for today's video. I do not know what's going to be up on Friday, quite frankly. I will figure something out. I'm thinking maybe I might do an updated favorite standalones video, but I don't know. You'll see it when you see it. And yeah, that's it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.